All right, so now we're recording and we're starting the Unit 6 study guide. Ah, goodness, what a morning it's been. And we're combining like terms with number 1. So combine the 2x squared and 3x squared. You're going to combine the positive 3x and the negative 4x. And then you are going to combine the negative 7 and the negative 10. Okay? So when you combine these two, 2x squared plus 3x squared is going to be 5x squared. Positive 3x and negative 4x is going to be negative 1x, or just negative x. Negative 7 plus negative 10 is negative 17. And that's as far as you go. Okay? Notice that you are adding in this problem. That's the big mistake that I see a lot of people make, is like we've been doing multiplication for so long that when you see these, you automatically like start multiplying the numbers because that's what we've been practicing a ton of. This is just addition. So you're just combining like terms. You keep the same base and you keep the same exponents and just combine the numbers in the front. Okay, so for number 2 is a little bit more involved, isn't it? We have to see which ones work, like which ones are true and which ones are false. So you need to like look at each one of these, and I will do the best that I can to like stay neat with this, but might get a little messy. So you're dividing each one of these, okay? So when you do this out, you would do 15 divided by 3. And so 15 divided by 3 is 5. So that's good, that works. And then you would do x to the 5th over x squared. That means you have to subtract these exponents. So 5 minus 2 is 3. That's good, okay? And then this would be a negative 33 divided by 3. I guess I should circle the negative sign too. Negative 33 divided by 3 is negative 11. So that checks, that's good. Now you're gonna do x to the 3rd over x to the 1st. So that would be subtraction. 3 minus 2 is 1. So what happened here? We should have an x to the 1st. We don't have an x to the 1st. All we have is a y right there. So right away, that knocks this one out. That is not going to be true. So now we go to the next one, okay? Remember, with this little 6, there's a 1 right there. So you're going to distribute the 3 to the 1. A lot of people forget to do that part. Then you're going to distribute the 3 to this 2, and then this little y right here has a 1, so you're going to distribute the 3 to this 1. So this will be 6 to the 3rd power. 6 to the 3rd power is 6 times 6 times 6, so it actually is 216. It's not 18, it's a whole lot bigger. Now, when you do a power raised to a power, because that's what this is, you multiply the exponents. So you would do 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is not 5. So it should be 6. So that knocks this one out. You don't have to go any further. Plus, they didn't do the y right either. All right, so next one, you have an 8 to the 1st power. You have a m squared, and you have a 1 to the 1st power. So 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, 1 times 4 is 4. So my variables, they look pretty good. We just have to check 8 to the 4th power. So if you type that into your calculator, or if you use Desmos, which we could use Desmos, might as well open up another tab here because I'll bet you we're gonna need it later also. Oh my goodness, my annotations still are on my Desmos screen. Let's get rid of those. Let's clear those all out of there. Alrighty, so it was 8 to the 4th power, right? So we're gonna do 8 raised to the 4th power. Oh, yep, that is 4,096. So that is correct. So actually, this one's good. This one was not good. This one was not good. And then the last one, which is big old division problem. So just remember, you're dividing each one of these, okay? 3 times you're gonna do the division. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and there technically is a 1 there, so that's all right. R to the 4th divided by R, that's really R to the 1st, is R to the 3rd, because you would subtract 4 minus 1. S squared over S to the 1st would be S to the 2 minus 1, so that would be okay. And then T, that's really a T to the 1st over T to the 1st. 1 minus 1 is 0, which means T to the 0 power, anything to the 0 power is 1. They just go away. So this first term is A-okay. Now we're going to do it again. -4 divided by 2 is -2. R to the 3rd over R to the 1st is R squared, because we have to subtract 3 minus 1. S to the 1st over S to the 1st, those are going to go away. It's going to just become a 1. T to the 1st over T to the 1st, that's also going to go away. So that's going to become a 1. So those so far are good. Now we do the 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. R to the 1st over R to the 1st goes away. S to the 1st over S to the 1st goes away. T to the 1st over T to the 1st goes away. They all become just 1. So 8 is all by theirself there. So this one is also good. So those take a while to go through them, but that's all right. You've got as much time as you need. There's no time limit on the test tomorrow. So take your time, okay? And have lots and lots of scrap paper near you. Alrighty, so let's move on to number 3. Oh, I need to clear my annotations, don't I? Clear. All right, number 3, which polynomial is equivalent to the following expression? So you need to distribute, that's the big one with this one. We need to distribute, I would like a different color. Let's go green. Distribute this negative to each one of these terms. When you have subtraction, that's a big deal. Addition, it doesn't matter, but with subtraction, you got to make sure that you do that negative to every single one of these terms, because you're not just subtracting the first one, you're subtracting all of them. So this will become a plus 4a squared. This will become a minus 9a, and then this will become a plus 10. Oh my goodness, I can't wait until I can get my iPad hooked up to this so that you guys won't have to suffer through this horrible handwriting. All right, so 7 plus 4, those are going to combine, right? So that'll be 11a squared. So therefore, it is not going to be a. -3 minus 9 is, remember when they're both negative, you just really end up combining them. That is -12. So it looks like B so far, definitely not, oh, definitely not C. There was a little 4 right there, wasn't there? So definitely not C. And then let's see if the last one works out. 2 plus 10. Yeah, 2 plus 10 is 12. So B is your answer for letter C. I'm sorry, for number 3. Goodness. All right, clear that. And we will move to number 4. Number 4, we are combining like terms again. So let's see here. We've got 8 plus 5. This is addition this time, so we don't have to worry about changing the signs. So 8 plus 5 is going to be 13. So that's going to knock out A and knock out D. 12 minus 3 is 9. That's looking pretty good. Negative 3 and negative 1 is negative 4. So that is going to be choice C for number 4. All right. So far, so good. Y'all still hanging with me? Give me like a thumbs up or a check mark if you're all good, or ask me a question. You good, Bree? You good, Anthony? I see Kel is good. Awesome. Bree, did I lose you? Okay, so there we go. Good, thank you. All right, so now I'm going to clear this out. Let's look at number 4, or actually let's look at number 5. More combining like terms. Whole lot of practice combining like term. We want to make sure you remember how to do that so you get these problems correct on the test tomorrow. This one's got a negative sign. So you're going to distribute this negative here. You're going to distribute it here, and you're going to distribute it here. So when I say distribute, that's like multiplying by -1. So negative times a negative becomes positive 2m squared. And then negative times positive is negative 2mx, and then negative times positive is negative 5x squared. Only combine things that have the same variable and the same exponent. So you've got a 3, let's go purple. You've got a 3m squared and you have a positive 2m squared. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So well, that's going to get rid of B and A. And I guess D. Looks like it's going to be C. Let's just make sure we do it right. You have 5mx minus 2mx, which is 3mx. And then negative 9x squared and negative 5x squared is negative 14x squared. So C is the correct answer for number 5. All right. Let's go down to number 6. Power raised to a power. And look at all the answers. We have to figure out which one is true. There could be more than one correct answer for this one. All right. So just so you know, sometimes on the test, you will have multiple correct answers. So like, don't give up after you just find the first one. There might be more. So the first thing you need to do is remember that that little number right there, the -4, has a 1 as the exponent. This 5 right here has a 1, the V has a 1, the 2 has a 1, and then all these guys, this 3, this M, and this N, they all have 1s, okay? So like you've got to remember to distribute the exponent to each one of their little exponents in the parentheses. So we're going to do 3 times 1, 3 times 4, and 3 times 2. So I need to actually do -4 to the 3rd power. I'm going to use my Desmos and ignore my little writing right there. -4 to the 3rd power. Yep, that is indeed -64. So this is good. 4 times 3 is 12. That is good. 2 times 3 is 6. That is good. So A is true, but that means like there could still be some other ones that are true. So we got to keep checking these, okay? So now we're going to go 5 to the 5th, B to the 5th, U to the 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20, definitely not 9. And 5 to the 5th power is a big, big number, not 25. So B, not the correct answer. C, let's see, 2 to the 3rd, 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 3 is 6. So we just have to check the 2 to the 3rd. 2 to the 3rd is 2 times 2 times 2. It is not 6, okay? 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So actually C is A-okay. All right, let's check D. 1 times 4. So that would be 3 to the 4th power, 1 times 4. 4, 1 times 4, n to the 4th. All right, now 3 to the 4th power is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Of course, you could put this in Desmos. I'm just going to do it right here because it's not too bad. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is actually 81, not 12. So D is not the correct answer. So your correct answers are actually A and C. Okay. All right. Excellent. I'm going to get rid of those so we can move on. Let's look at number 7. So for number 7, this one's written a little weird. The only thing that's weird about it is that they put the big times sign in the middle, and we don't normally see those time signs. Like normally it's parentheses or a dot, so don't get hung up on the time sign, okay? Don't let that intimidate you. It's just this, I mean, if you want to put a dot right there, you can. Now it looks a little bit more like a messy version of what we do. So the big thing is that you have to remember that we are adding the exponents, okay? So you just got done doing a whole lot of power raised to a power in the last problem. And so like you're kind of in that mode of thinking. Now you got to change gears and remember that we are adding the exponents for problems like this, okay? You're adding the exponents. So this is really going to be P to the 6 plus 2, okay? 6, there's my 6. 6 plus 2. So your answer is B, okay? Okay, number 8. I think for number 8, I am going to do this on a piece of paper because I think it's going to take a little bit more organization than I can do with my cursor. So I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to write this down on my paper and then I'm going to share my screen. So you have 4r plus 1 times 5r squared minus 3r minus 6. Okay, now this one's really good because it's a little bigger than just 2 binomials. It's a binomial and actually something with 3 terms that's a trinomial. And so you're going to do this the same way. It's exactly the same. You can use the distributive property or you can do the box method, okay? I think I am going to use the box method for this one. So you just make a little bit bigger box. It's a little bit longer. And we're gonna have space for 1, actually, I'll move this over a little bit. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna go across like this, okay? So I'm going to put the 4r plus 1. I'm actually gonna put that on the side. It doesn't matter if you put it on the side or if it's on the top, okay? There's no way that you can mess this up. It'll stay the same. And then you're gonna do 5r squared minus 3r minus 6. Now go ahead and try those problems. Try filling in the boxes and then I'll check back with you in just a second. All right, so 4r times 5r squared is going to be 20r to the 3rd. 4r times negative 3r is negative 12r squared. 4r times negative 6 is going to be negative 24r. Now Now we're down here. 1 times 5r squared is 5r squared. 1 times negative 3r is negative 3r. And 1 times negative 6 is negative 6, like that. So combine the things that are like terms. If they're not like terms, then they just stay separate from each other. So the only thing that we have with the r cubed is this 20. So you write 20r cubed. Now we also have some squared terms. So you have a 5r squared and you have a negative 12r squared. So this will be negative 7r squared. We have negative 3r and negative 24r, which combines to negative 27r. And then the last one is just this little 6 right here. It's a negative 6, actually. Probably should have done that in maybe a different color so that it didn't look like it went with the other ones. There we go. So negative 6. And that's your answer. Those all have different exponents, so you can't do anything more with that problem. But yeah, this is definitely, we haven't done the ones with 3, and I think there might be 1 or 2 on the test tomorrow. And that's why I wanted to make sure that we did the study guide together and that it was recorded so everybody could watch and have this written down and have it next to you, study it, okay? You're doing it exactly like the binomials. It's nothing new, just a little bit longer. If you like to do the distributive property, just be super organized and just make sure you're drawing your lines to each one of these, like all 3. And then you would do the positive 1 times 5r squared, 1 times negative 3r, and 1 times negative 6. Sometimes I don't like the distributive property with the longer problems because my lines get all tangled up and overlapping, and then I kind of like forget what I've done and what I haven't done. So box method works pretty nicely. Okay, so if you need to, go ahead and take a screenshot of that, and then I'm going to go back to the study guide. Okay, all right, and that was actually number 8, not number 2. That was actually number 8. Okay, so it looks like the correct answer to that was B. Make sure that you recognize that B is the correct answer. Okay, so number 9. Now, this one is also multiplication, but you don't have to do box method for this. You can just multiply straight across. I would write it all out separately. We do have a power raised to a power right here. See how you have the parentheses and then the 4s on the outside? I'm going to take care of that first. So remember, this x has a little 1 right here, and this y has a little 1. So back here, this will actually become 1 times 4 and 1 times 4. So this will be x to the 4th power, y to the 4th power, like that. And then I'm just going to put a dot instead of the parentheses. And then this x also has a 1, and the y's got a 3. There's nothing out here, so we don't have to do power to a power for that. So I'm just going to recopy this as x to the 1st and y to the 3rd. Okay. All right. So now you're still not done because we could simplify this some more. You have x's right here and right here. And when you're multiplying, you keep the base and you add the exponents. So it'll become 1 plus 4. And then you also have some y's. So here's a y and here's a y. So you would write the y down and then you're going to add the exponents like this, 3 plus 4. And then simplify that. So that would simplify to x to the 5th, y to the 7th, like that. That's your final answer. Okay? All right. If you need to, take a screenshot of that also. I'm going to move on. I'm going to clear these out and I'm going to move on to the next one. So this one I'm going to do on paper also, number 10. Okay. I guess I'll do distributive property with this one just to show the variety of how you can work these out. I'm definitely a box method person, but I will do distributive property just to like show that no matter how you do this, you'll be all right. You choose which way is easier for you. Okay, so here we go, number 10. All right, so with distributive property, we are gonna do 3z times 2z squared. Remember, this is a 1 right here. So this will become 3 times 2, which is 6. Z to the first times z squared becomes z to the third. Okay. Now you're going to do 3z times negative 5z. So 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Remember, there's a little 1 right here. Z to the first times z to the first is z squared. Okay, 3z times 7. So 3 times 7 is 21, positive 21. Z, there's no z back here, so this will just be a z. Don't forget that little z. All right, now it's this one's turn, the negative 5. So you're going to do negative 5 times 2z squared. So that'll be negative 5 times 2 is negative 10z squared. Now do negative 5 times negative 5z. Negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25z. And now negative 5 times positive 7. Negative 5 times positive 7 is negative 35. Combine like terms with what you have. So 6z cubed minus 15z squared. You get another minus 10z squared. So a negative 15 and a negative 10 is negative 25z squared. 21z plus 25z is 46z. And then this little minus 35 all by himself is all just going to be at the end. Okay, so your answer is 6z cubed minus 25z squared plus 46z minus 35. And let's see which answer choice that ends up being on our study guide. 6z cubed minus 25z squared plus 46 minus 35. So, oh, this one didn't have multiple choice. Well, all right. So let me bring it back up on the screen in case you need to see it one more time. That would be your answer for number 10. Just double checking all the numbers, make sure that I didn't make any mistakes. I think we're good. Cool. Okay, so take a screenshot of this if you need to. Moving on to the next one. Okay. All right, so that was number 10. Now we are grooving on here to number 11. Ooh, fractions. Okay, well, that's all right. We can totally do this. And I think I can annotate this one on the screen without it being too messy. All right, I am going to use red. Okay, so let's just get rid of this fraction. I'll bet you we could get the answer just by taking care of this fraction. So this is multiplication right here, okay? You are going to do the distributive property to this, and then to this, and then to this. Now, don't freak out if you can't remember how to multiply with fractions. That's understandable, okay? I hope you get to the point someday that you're comfortable if you're not comfortable. But that's all right if you're not comfortable. That's why we have like tools like Desmos, right? So even though my little annotations are going to show up, I'm going to go to the Desmos calculator. Let's multiply 1/4 times 8, okay? Let's say you don't know how to do that. So let's multiply it right here. So you would do 1/4, arrow over, and then times 8. Okay, Desmos does a beautiful job with that. So the answer is 2. So therefore, all right, these all have 2's in the front. So, well, so much for that. Let's go and do 1/4 times -7. So go to Desmos, multiply 1/4 times -7. Ooh, it's a decimal. So I don't have any decimal answers in my study guide, but I could click on Desmos over here on the side where it has a little fraction button and change that to a fraction. Well, what do you know? We have an answer choice, only one answer choice that has that fraction. So really, we could be done at this point. But let's just double check. 1/4 times 12. If you put a 12 in here, 1/4 times 12 is 3. There's your last term. If you're checking the exponents, you're adding the exponents with these guys because when you multiply, you add exponents. So 3 plus 4 is 7. This y has a 1, this y has a 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. And then the rest, 3 plus 1, also, this has got a little 1 right here. Like this y has a 1, this y has a 1, and this y has a 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. That's correct. 1 plus 5 is 6. So you should have an exponent there. And then back here, these each have little 1s also. So when you multiply, you'll be adding 3 plus 1, which is 4. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So even though we knew it already, double check to make sure it makes sense. A is your correct answer. So when you have problems like that, where you see that fraction, if you have a fraction tomorrow, just have a tab of Desmos open and do the multiplication with all of the numbers in the front first. And it may like help you eliminate some answers. Okay, so let's go down to number 12 and clear my annotations too. All right, so this is like the one that we had in the beginning. You are going to divide 24 by 6. So that is going to be 4. I will do the best I can to write this neatly. Now you're going to do 7. That's 7 right there. And this 3. When you divide, subtract the exponents. So 7 minus 3 is x raised to the 4th power. Now you're going to do the y to the 8th and the y to the 4th. So subtract 8 minus 4 is 4. So this will be y to the 4th. Minus. Now we're going to do 42 divided by 6. 42 divided by 6 is 7. Subtract the exponents now. 5 minus 3 is x squared. 5 minus 4 is y to the 1st. Or if you just write a y, that's correct too. Now bring down the plus sign. 12 divided by 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Subtract the exponents. 3 minus 3 is 0. So this will be x to the 0 power. But we know anything to the 0 power is just 1. So that goes away. And then y to the 4 minus 4. So that'll be 0 again, but we know anything to the 0 power just goes to 1, so that'll go away. So we could just erase these guys and be done. That would be it, because this would just be 2 times 1 times 1, which is just going to be 2. Okay? That's the answer to 12. All right. How are we doing so far? Okay, check marks, thumbs up. Hopefully you're all still awake. All right, thanks, Anthony. Kel, Bree, you guys all right? Kel's good. Bree, are you good? I hope. I'm gonna clear this out. We're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, so number 13, power raised to a power. Alrighty, power raised to a power. Don't forget this little 1 right here. That's the mistake everybody makes. I don't want to see you guys make that mistake. So 1 times 4 is going to be 2 to the 4th power. 2 times 4, this will be x to the 8th power. 3 times 4, this will be y to the 12th power. So we just have to figure out what 2 to the 4th is. It is not 8. It is actually 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16, which is choice D. Okay. All right, moving right along. Number 14, a division problem. All righty. So we're going to do 4 divided by 4, which is 1. So it is not going to be choice A. It's not going to start with a 3. K to the 5th over k squared. Subtract these exponents. This is going to be k to the 5 minus 2, which is 3. Plus, now do 20 divided by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. It's looking like B is going to be the answer. K to the 4th over k squared. Subtract 4 minus 2 is 2. Then put a plus sign. 8 divided by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Subtract the exponents. 3 minus 2 is 1. K to the 1st. And yeah, that's right. B is the answer. Okay, so lots of the same stuff. Let's move down to number 15. Identify each one that is true. There could be more than one correct answer. So we got to check them all, everybody. Okay, so we're subtracting here, okay? There's no B in the bottom. So right away, I gotta have a B squared in my answer because there's no B in the bottom to do my subtraction. I don't have a B squared over here, so it is not gonna be A. Plus 4 minus 3, this is just totally wrong, okay? All right, now this one's kind of interesting. Let's see, so you have 4 divided by 2. This u to the 0 is just gonna go away. That's just gonna become a 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now, the v to the negative 1 down in the denominator would be like doing, goodness, let's see. It would sort of be like writing a fraction and having like another fraction underneath that. Because remember, when you have negative exponents, we just learned this on Thursday. When you have a negative exponent, you have to make this positive by putting the v down in the denominator. Well, this v was already down in the denominator, so it's like really down in the denominator. So you would do KFC. We learned this at the beginning of the school year. Keep the top, flip the bottom, and change to multiplication. Keep flip change. So whenever you're dividing by a fraction, just keep the top, flip the bottom, change it to multiplication. So 2v is actually okay for letter B. Snuck in some old stuff from the beginning of the school year. Looks like this is the same thing. So you have n to the 4th in the top. You have a 3 in the bottom. And then you got these guys with the negative exponents. So you have to rewrite them with positive exponents. So this will be 1 over m. And this would be 1 over n, right next door to that. Okay. So you are going to keep flip change. Keep the n to the 4th. Flip these guys upside down. So you're going to flip to m over 1, n over 1, like that. And then multiply. Everything will be multiplied. This 3 in the bottom just stays underneath, because the 3 does not have a negative exponent. The 3 is raised to the positive 1. There's really a little 1 right there. So this becomes n to the 4th times m times n all over 3. So this is going to have a 1 right here. This will have a 1. So when you multiply these, you're going to add the exponents, but not with the m. The m is not the same base. So this would be n to the 5th m all over 3, which is close but no cigar. So C is not the same. Okay. All right. Let's move on to 16. The answer to that last one was B, by the way. Okay, so 16, same little issue going on with 16. So x to the 5th, that's good the way it is. Y squared, that's good. Z to the 8th. All over. Now, this has a little 1 and this has a little 1. So this will be x to the negative 3rd. And this will be y to the negative 3rd. Okay? So you are going to keep flip change. Keep the top, x to the 5th, y squared, z to the 8th. Oh, that was like, I don't know what I was doing with that. Get rid of that. Make it look a little nicer. Z to the 8th. Now, to fix these guys in the bottom, I would have to write this as 1 over x cubed, like x to the 3rd power. And to get rid of that negative exponent, I'd have to write this to the y cubed, like that. Oh, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, there's probably a better way. I'll bet you all are thinking, well, how about if we do it this other way? Is anybody thinking there's a better way we could do this instead of keep flip change? We could just subtract, couldn't we, guys? Because this one's not too bad the way it is. All right, hold on. Let's change gears here and make it a little bit nicer for you. We don't have to do the keep flip change for this one. So this was what? X to the negative 3rd. And this one was y to the negative 3rd. I apologize. I did not notice that right away. Okay, so let me erase these things. Okay, so we can just subtract, right? Because we got x's on the top and the bottom. So 5, you'd be doing 5 minus negative 3. 5 minus negative 3. Well, that really becomes chop, chop, 5 plus 3. So this would be x to the 8th power. And then 2 minus negative 3. 2 minus negative 3. For the y's, that would be plus y to the 5th. And then I don't have anything with the z down here in the denominator, so the z is just going to keep its exponent. So this would be x to the 8th, y to the 5th, z to the 8th. So there you go. If you would have done keep, flip, change, you would have got the same exact answer. But might as well keep things easy, right? If you can subtract, subtract. All right, so D for number 16. I'm going to clear all this and move on. Number 17. So this is power to a power. What do we have here? Power to a power. Don't forget that 3 has a little 1 right there. So 1 times 4, 2 times 4, and 4 times 4. So you should get 3 to the 4th, x to the 2 times 4, which is going to be 8, and then y to the 4 times 4, which is going to be 16. So 3 to the 4th, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. We've had that one earlier. I do believe it is choice B. That's not too bad. All right, I'll clear these and move on to number 18. Number 18, which is a simplified form of the following expression using only positive exponents and y does not equal 0. Okie doke. Don't worry about that y does not equal 0 part. That just means that we can't have a 0 in the denominator. That's all that means. You don't have to do anything with this. A lot of people see that on the SOL when they put it in the directions and like they think they have to do something with the 0. You don't. No worries. Okay, so this 3 is not being divided by anything. It's like 3 divided by 1. So the answer is just going to have a 3. Therefore, is not going to be 9. Yeah, won't be choice B. And then x squared over x to the negative 3rd. You are subtracting those exponents because we are dividing. So that'll be 2 minus a negative 3. So chop, chop. That'll become x to the 5th. And then y squared over y squared, well, that'll be y to the 2 minus 2, which is 0. And anything to the 0 power just goes to 1. So we actually lose the y. It's not going to be there anymore. We could actually erase it. So your answer is just 3x to the 5th. All right, clear those. Number 19, which is a simplified form of the following expression. All right, and this whole thing with x can't be 0 and y can't be 0. Of course not, because we can't have 0 in the denominator of a fraction. It's not allowed. So no worries about that. You don't have to do anything with these two things up here. You just have to simplify. So let's do it. So remember, there's a little 1 right here. So 1 times 2, 3 times 2, 4 times 2. So this will be 2 squared x to the 6th power. Y to the 4 times 2 is 8 over, well, if I can squeeze it in, x to the 3rd, y to the 10th. Man, you guys that do all your work in Cami, I give props to you because I cannot write at all with my cursor. Okay, so 2 squared is 4. I think I know what the answer is. There's only one answer that has a 4, but we'll keep going. And then x to the 6th over x to the 3rd, subtract those exponents. That'll be x to the 3rd. Y to the 8th over y to the 10th, subtract those exponents. That's going to be y to the negative 2. But, we cannot have negative exponents. That is not proper. So you are going to rewrite this as 4x to the 3rd, and then you move the y down to the denominator and throw away the exponent. So it becomes positive 2. Throw away the negative exponent, I should say. So it'll be y positive 2, which is B. All right, almost done. Clear these. 20 and 21 are talking about algebra tiles. We did this in Desmos. Here's the big thing that you have to be able to recognize on tomorrow's test. You need to be able to tell me what is along the top. Like you need to be able to recognize what the factor would be along the top and what is along the side. All right. So once again, it looks like I'm like circling those words. I'm not. You need to tell me what would be along the top of this algebra tile and along the side. So remember, this long side, the big blue thing is x squared, but the long side is x. And then these little guys right here, these are all 1s. Okay, so this would be x plus 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is x plus 4. Along the side, this is x. And then this little tiny space right here is a 1. You can't see that 1. I need to change my color. That's a 1 right there. So this would be x plus 1. Okay, so if it's long like this, it's an x. If it's a little short thing like that, it's a 1. Okay, so the binomials are these things that have 2 terms. Across the top is x. You have 1 long side and then 1, 2, 3, 4 little short sides. That would be x plus 4. And then on the side is x and then 1 little one, x plus 1. Okay. Only focus on along the top and along the side. Let's do another one together so that you have another shot at that. Class is almost over too. So like this is a good way to wrap up. Okay, so I'm going to clear my drawings and I'm going to move down to 21. 21's a little bit easier to look at because they have it all like broken up. All you need to do is tell me what is along the top and what is along the side. Okay, so let's see here. Can I like change this to like, yeah, I want yellow. So look, you have 1 long side, that's an x. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the little ones. So that would be plus 5. Okay. If we do along the side, maybe this is a little better. You have 1 long one. So that's the x. And then you have 1, 2, 3 little guys underneath. So plus 3. Just look at the edge. Don't focus on all, you don't have to look at any of this stuff on the inside. Just look at the edges. Long edge is an x. Little tiny short edges are 1s. So x plus 5. On the side, long edge is x. Little tiny ones are 1s. So x plus 3. Okay. And that pretty much wraps up the study guide.